Okay. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so I can see the thing you did.
Okie dokie.
If my phone will work. Alright. Gotta get headphones so my phone doesn't blare into the microphone. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that overlay.
Yay!
All right, so is everybody ready?
Yes.
Hold on, you get my chalky milk.
You're eating it?
I said again. What the fuck? Face.
What? Oh, nice.
Gotta eat your chalky milk.
Yes, let me freeze my chalky milk so I can just casually munch.
That's what I was thinking.
Think of the cold ice chalky milk bunny.
Oh my!
Very disappointed. Hate it
Oh
here.
my god! I gotta freeze my chalky milk to eat it. Okay.
How do you take your chalky milk? Frozen.
Yes, a true gentleman.
Alright. So, just for a quick intro, I am the DM this evening. I am Josh. Yes. I did that.
Hi, Josh.
This is not this is not AA, dude.
It might as well be. I mean,
Alright, let me get my jib.
Pegasus for the host. I appreciate it.
Okay. So before we kind of get started on the campaign here, we're gonna kind of go through, have everybody kind of describe and just give a general idea of what their characters are. I'm just gonna kind of start from the list I see here on Discord. So Burb, you are first.
okay, so my character is a satyr. She used to be a fisherman. She is a druid, and her background is kind of hermitish. She mostly just kind of fished and stayed away from society.
All right. Now we move on to Celeste. Oh no, did I die?
No, you're still alive.
Oh.
Oh. Mandy!
Okay. Okay, so currently I am a little winged kobold. I am pure white. I have a blonde tuft that goes from the top of my head to the tip of my tail. I got hazel eyes. I stand about 3 foot tall and 70 pounds. And I am a barbarian. She is an outlander for her background. She's chaotic good. Or maybe I should be more referencing to me. Her name is Mandy. And yeah, she's a soft-spoken little kobold.
All right. So now we have Lucas. My Discord shifted, so it's Lucas's turn.
Hi, I'm Lucas. My character's name is also Lucas. I am an artificer with a noble background who was shunned from his family to become a chicken farmer and start his own empire called the Chicken Empire. And he's slowly working his way back up by making tiny armors for his chickens. And that's pretty much where I'm at.
All right. Next, we have Crystal.
Hello, I am
Hello.
Crystal. I am a 5'10" tiefling with ice blue skin, white hair, and the pink eyes. I am a bard, and I'm quite fond of ice cream.
Quick question. What kind of pink? Is it like a bubblegum pink?
See, I like my birthstone tourmaline,
So
that-
okay.
so it's that kind of pink.
All right. Then next we have Nick.
So I am Nick, aka Will. I am playing a counterpoint to Crystal. I'm playing a red and black tiefling sorcerer with an emphasis in cooking. Overall, pretty chill. He's a party cook, and with the guild artisan background, due to just being like a freelance cook, just wherever he goes.
All right. And then last we have Brady.
Hello, I'm Brady. I am playing a half-orc monk. My character had spent a majority of his training inside of a dragon's lair where he learned their ways and practiced how to become one himself. That is all.
All right. Now that we've kind of went through introductions and everything, we're gonna kind of jump into the session here. So the party is currently a group of mercenaries. You guys have been working as a mercenary group for about a month now. So you're kind of familiar with each other, not incredibly familiar. So there's still kind of a little bit of tension. Your current job is you are currently protecting a what is known as a corpse cart. They go around to battlefields and collect the very important valuables to fallen soldiers and make sure they get back to their loved ones. So you are currently watching the cart and kind of just walking around the battlefield that's covered in... It's a rather big open field. Most of the grass is kind of burned away or covered in different types of substances. There is a little bit of a forest. Well, at least what's left. You guys are kind of currently on the left side of this large field. On the right side, there is a orc equivalent of a corpse carriage. There's a small group of orcs guarding it and collecting the orcish valuables. So you guys are kind of just in this field, just doing what you're currently supposed to be doing. What do you guys want to do for right now?
What is there to find?
That depends on what you're looking for, because on your side of the field, you are currently surrounded by humans and a few different warforged that are kind of just lying about. So, I mean, you could probably go around and collect a few weapons. Currently, your task is to kind of grab whatever valuable items that they might have that would have any sentimental value, so like rings, necklaces, anything of that nature. But if you're looking for anything more specific, roll me an investigation.
I'll take a look for some special loot. Let's see what we find.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to do so, go ahead and roll investigation.
Okie dokie.
13.
Oh, whoops! I rolled that in general. Damn it! I got a dirty 20 though. I'll put my roll over there.
I got 14.
Okay. Got one more roll coming in. Oh boy.
I got a nat 1.
Oh boy. First nat one of the new campaign. Woo!
Yay!
Mandy, you don't really find really much. You're kind of too. I'll say you find like a really pretty flower, and you're just really focused on this flower.
I will pick the
Um,
flower and I will put it in my hair, my floof.
Okay, you now have a simple little sunflower just chilling in your hair.
Yeah.
Crystal, Lucas. Oh no, Lucas, Will, and Brady. You guys kind of go around, search the bodies that are kind of lying about. You do find a couple of pretty intact short swords. I would say there's about 3 of them. The majority of the weapons were kind of destroyed during the battle. You don't really find any coin. You do also find a couple of simple like silver/gold rings, mostly looking kind of wedding band of sorts. And you do find that a few of the human soldiers were wearing simple identification tags. So you can take those as well. There's probably going to be about 6 or 7 of them. For you, Crystal, you actually come across a human wizard with his spell book. Kind of, it's a little dirty and does have a little bit of blood on it. But it is a spell book. You're not sure what kind of spells are in it. But there is a spell book, and it does have some spells available in it. I mean, you more than likely wouldn't be able to use it, but it would fetch a decent amount of money if you chose to do so. So, Crystal, you can add a spellbook to your inventory. Lucas, Nick, and Brady. There's 3 short swords, about 4 wedding bands, and 7 sets of identification tags. You guys can kind of do what you want with those items. If you want me to put those in general, I will.
And
Okay.
I am able to.
While you guys are kind of going through all of the valuables and things that you find, I need everybody to roll me perception real quick.
Yeah.
Well, actually, instead of rolling perception, what is everybody's passive perception?
13.
11.
Okay.
Well,
I also have 11.
Board. Your perception is 10 plus your perception skill.
You know,
Well,
for someone who just
sorry.
picked a flower, out of nowhere, having a
You got-
15.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 10 plus your perception skill for your passive.
Yeah, I have 12.
12.
Okay.
Yay.
So for everyone that has 13 or higher, as you're kind of going about and doing your duty and kind of collecting the valuables and things, you do notice that there is a female tiefling woman. She is currently dressed in what looks like war cleric clothing. And it looks like she currently is holding a warforged kind of gently in her lap. And it seems like she's kind of calling out for something. You're not entirely sure what she's calling out for, but seems like she's in distress and needs assistance of some sort.
I will approach.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so Mandy and Crystal are approaching. What is everybody else doing?
I'll approach as well, just in case.
Yeah, if I notice everybody leaving, I'd start following after.
Okay.
Me too.
All right. Brady, what are you doing?
I'll do the same.
Okay. So you all start to approach this female tiefling. As you get closer, you do notice that there's currently a mace and shield kind of lying next to her. But what is very strange about this tiefling is you've been here for maybe about an hour now, and you have not seen a single part of this battlefield not covered in some sort of substance like blood or charred or something of that nature. This tiefling is wearing pitch white clothing pretty much, and there's not a speck of blood or dirt or anything on her outfit in general. And as you get closer, you can see that she is a darker purple skin. She doesn't have any horns that you can tell. And she seems to be crying and just kind of shakily and she's shakily and kind of choking out, trying to find somebody to help her with the warforged that is currently laying in her lap.
Miss, can I help you with something? And she's kind of gonna peek over her shoulder a bit.
She's gonna gently turn her head to you. You see on her face she kind of tries to speak, but the words just kind of get caught, and she's just kind of gently like rubbing her hand against the warforged head. Also kind of gently lays her hand on the warforged chest, and you see that where the it looks very heavily damaged.
Oh, it seems like your friend there hasn't had a good go. She'll kind of kneel next to her and try to comfort her in a way, and then she'll look to the rest of the party. Does anybody have any way of helping this poor man?
Can I do a medicine check to see how they're doing?
I can try to repair him.
Hello?
The fact that since warforged aren't technically
Hello?
Hello?
hold on.
Okay.
That better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. To answer for your medicine check, that one's a little difficult due to the fact that warforged aren't organic creatures. They're most warforged are mechanical in nature. There are some warforged that are closer to golems. So in this case, it would actually be a tinkerer check.
I do not have that.
Essentially, a tinkerer check would be you roll a d20, add your intelligence modifier, and if you're proficient with tinkerer's tools, even if you don't have them, in a certain situation like this, you wouldn't particularly need them. It's more of you're using your knowledge of tinkering to inspect. But if you don't have a proficiency in tinkering, then it would just be pretty much just a straight intelligence check.
Can I argue for cook's utensils?
If you if you planned on turning him into soup, yes. Otherwise, no.
This is quite crunchy.
Sure. I'll still make the roll, even though I'm not proficient in Tinker's tools.
Yeah, that's fine. It would just be just a straight intelligence check then.
Let's. Oh nope, that's 10.
I'll go ahead and roll.
I will also roll.
All right, so Mandy and Lucas, are you both rolling intelligence as well?
Yeah. Got 17.
What do I put if I'm proficient in it?
If you're,
bonus.
yeah, it would be a D20 plus your intelligence modifier plus your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in Tinkerer's tools.
Which, if you we're level 3, so our proficiency bonus is still +2.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that would be my intelligence plus the proficiency.
You have a +4 in intelligence?
Yes, I do. Thank you for noticing.
Jesus. All right.
I will put stats.
It wasn't a very high DC because is pretty obvious like what's wrong with this Warforged. Essentially his power core is heavily damaged, and what you would need to do is either attempt to fix the current power core or try to locate one that is undamaged and replace it.
Good question.
Nice.
Yes.
One of my cantrips is mending. Could I use that?
Oh.
You could use it on like the outer plating, because the core is kind of inside of the Warforged, like kind of outer metal plating. You could use it on the outer metal plating, but not the core itself, due to the fact that the core is a very refined magical item.
Okay, so then I'm not going to use mending.
Now, I got a question. This might be a little out there.
Yes.
Is this core magical or mechanical?
It's a mixture of both. Because essentially the case, because it's pretty much a battery of sorts. So it has like it essentially looks like a AA battery, but probably like 10 times bigger. So it's just a metal case, and there's kind of like a simple magical energy source that's kind of placed in a gentle like glass case that's kind of wrapped in this metal. So it's kind of a little bit of both. It's both mechanical and magical.
Okay, so what I'm going to try to do,
Okay.
even if I have to, say take apart a leg, is there any way I could make some sort of like steam generator where I just kickstart it, essentially? Just boil some water and start kickstarting it?
We'll see. Are you proficient in Tinkerer's tools?
No, but I have brewer supplies and cook's utensils, so if need be, I can boil water. I just need somebody to help, kickstart something. I don't have mechanical know-how, I have cooking know-how. If not, it's fine. It was just a thought. Just do like a little steam engine.
Yeah, in this case, I'm going to say no, due to the fact that you aren't mechanically knowledgeable. If somebody was mechanically knowledgeable and they can essentially build it and you could pretty much apply the steam to it, then I would allow that.
Oh, well then, last follow-up question. Being a guild artisan, would I know of
Like
somebody...
rather than mechanic like, I'm gonna have to say a no on that one.
So, given the guild artisan, would I possibly know of somebody who could at least try to fix him properly?
You would, yeah, you essentially could. But Mandy, you would also know that Warforged don't last very long without a power core.
Okay. So, would I have a knowledge of any kind of where we could get one? Possibly?
Well, I would just recommend probably searching around due to the fact that there are, along with human bodies, there are plenty of Warforged just kind of lying around.
Okay, then I want to go ahead and do that. I'll go start scurrying around to the other Warforges.
All right, give me an investigation check. Anybody else that wants to do so is welcome to.
Yeah,
Or if you just want to give advantage to Mandy, you can.
yeah, I'll give her a little help.
All right, are you going to roll separately or just give Mandy advantage?
I'll just give Mandy advantage. I only got a +1.
All right, Mandy, you have advantage on your investigation check. You may not need it.
Considering I made a 21, yeah, I'm good.
Well, to see you get the nat 20, you never know.
Oh, fine, I'll roll again.
I mean, it's not really going to change the outcome much if you get a nat 20. It'll just be more spectacular.
Okay, I'll take the 21 most definitely.
Okay, so you kind of scurry around. It doesn't take you very long to find a Warforged that doesn't seem to have any damage on, like, kind of the chest area where the power core will be located. So you kind of walk up to him and you kind of place your head against the chest where the power core is. You kind of listen a little bit and you do like hear this light little hum indicating that the Warforged is still currently powered. It just seems like something's kind of generally stopping him from operating, whether it would be some other mechanical issues, but you can tell that the core inside of this Warforged is still currently operational.
Okie dokie, I'm gonna try to open him up and get it out.
All right, roll me a strength check.
To roll or, I mean, to kill or not to kill, that is the question.
Moral situation.
Yeah.
I checked his card. He's an organ donor.
No,
Sorry, we gotta unplug you.
literally.
Yeah, I'll say that's enough due to the condition that the Warforged is currently in. His his outer metal shell is kind of really charred, so it doesn't take a lot of effort for you to kind of just pull the chest section apart, and you do see like the little battery, and it's very bright and is very humming kind of to life. And it doesn't take you very much to kind of just plop it out of there, because essentially it is just a battery, so they're meant to be interchangeable, so they're easily replaceable. So you kind of just pull the charred and kind of unkempt armor apart, and you plop the battery out. You currently have a Warforged core in your possession.
Alright, I'm gonna scurry back over and attempt to transplant this into the other one.
All right. I'm not going to make you roll anything for that, because it's not really. It's just essentially changing out batteries. So you rush over to the downed Warforged. As the tiefling woman looks over to you and sees that you're rushing with a fully functional core, she removes her hand from the Warforged chest. You kind of slide to a halt dig your hand in, pull out the destroyed core, and kind of gently. It takes a second or two because some of the armor pieces are kind of bent up, and it does take a little, like a minute or two, to just kind of get that set perfectly where it's supposed to go. You get it set in there. Good 10 seconds go by, nothing really happens. Another 10 seconds, and the core seems to be humming, but the Warforged is still currently not moving. And right at about the 30-second point after you've placed the core, you see that this gentle light just kind of starts to emanate from like these little slits in the Warforged armor, and it kind of glows like this gentle blue. And you kind of watch as the Warforged, like the face, kind of lights up, and you see as the blue kind of darkens and then lightens, like kind of in a breathing motion of sorts, where it kind of fades in and out, like the Warforged is currently breathing. And he just kind of shoots up very rapidly and just starts looking around.
I will back up, but also be happy that I successfully gave this Warforged essentially a heart surgery and was successful at it.
Woo! Mandy did heart surgery!
Yay!
I love this first session.
So the Warforged, after shooting up and kind of taking a quick look around, he kind of understands the situation that he's in. He doesn't quite say anything just yet, but you see that calm, gentle blue turns into like this golden yellow, and he just kind of stares at the tiefling. And just in this brief moment of just pure calm and silence, the tiefling and Warforged just kind of come into a warm embrace and just kind of hug. And they're just kind of there, just thankful that both of them are currently alive. Oh no, did I die again?
Nope.
No, you're good.
Dude, my Discord. What is up with the Discord on my computer? Alright. So what are you guys doing?
Mandy's going to go over and kind of kneel by them, and she will tap the tiefling woman on the shoulder and kind of peek around and ask, "So, what exactly happened? How did this happen? Are you two gonna be okay?"
She's gonna kind of shift her head towards you. She's gonna dry off her eyes, and she's gonna give you a big hug and just start saying thank you over and over again. And as she kind of finishes, she's gonna kind of go back into like a calm and collected kind of posture. Well, that's a very long story. You see, I know that I'm a tiefling, so it's kind of weird for me to be working with the human military per se. But she points at the Warforged. This is gonna sound really weird, but this is my husband. I work since he was conscripted into the military. I kind of just came along with him. Most humans aren't really happy that I'm kind of here, but the big love kind of stands up for me. But we kind of got ambushed per se, the squad that we were a part of, and it just didn't really go that well, as you can tell. And she kind of points at the charred and kind of open section of the Warforged chest that now just shows like the glowing and humming battery sitting in his chest.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I kind of know what it's like not to be within the... And she's kind of gonna have almost this, like, a little grumpy look on her face. The good graces of humanity, but, I really hope you and your husband don't have to worry about too much of this anymore. It's very sad.
Oh no, I really appreciate the kind words, but this was supposed to be our last assignment, so we're actually hoping to go and maybe start a tavern or maybe become farmers, just something simpler in life. Get away from all this violence. And she's gonna pick up her mace and her shield. She's gonna slide her shield onto her back, put the mace into its proper position, and she's gonna help the Warforged up, kind of wrap his arm around her shoulder. Even though she's standing at about like 5'10", he's a good 6'5", so it looks a little awkward. But she does manage to kind of get his arm around her shoulder, and just kind of gently starts to kind of lead him off of the battlefield towards the direction of where the humans are currently camping.
Mandy will give a kind little wave and kind of return back to the party. If they weren't already surrounding the situation.
Everybody's there.
Okay.
What is everybody doing?
I guess back to our duties.
Back to the job.
Pretty much.
I would
I will find the most blown up person and I'll piece them back together.
I would like to go to the now murdered Warforged that we took the battery from and take some of its parts for myself.
Crystal, roll performance to see how well you put this body back together. Lucas, roll a strength check, and we'll see what kind of parts you can get off of this Warforged.
Sorry, I put that in general.
I'd like to assist Lucas.
You're assisting Lucas?
So I get advantage.
Yes, Lucas.
I got a nat 1, but my
Yeah,
nat 1 is still a 10.
But
Yes,
he
you rolled in
does-
general.
Yeah, sorry. I got a 17 for that roll.
+5.
What were you
How
trying to
did
say,
you roll?
Mandy?
I was, like, if I'm helping him, I would just give him my, modifier, right?
No, it would be giving him advantage, so he would get to roll twice and just take the higher of the two.
Okay.
And what do you need, Brady?
I'm just baffled how Crystal has a +9.
Don't question it.
Hey, well,
Crystal's a bard. What do you think Crystal has a
Oh,
+9 in
okay.
performance?
I didn't think they were rolling performance. I'm sorry. I zoned out for a second, I guess.
I'm
It's
just
okay.
going around picking up name tags and what might be like family heirloomed weaponry.
So Crystal, you do find a pretty distorted body. It looks like it took a direct hit from a fireball. You're not quite sure whether it was orc or human. The body is quite large, so you're kind of thinking a little more orc. So in that sense, you kind of start to put this body together, and after about a good minute or two, you realize something is very, very wrong when you stare at where the head's supposed to go, and it's a foot.
No! I will rearrange the body. No!
Another performance check. Lucas, you managed to pretty easily disassemble this Warforge because once again, the majority of the outer plating was kind of charred, so it's not really that difficult to kind of tear off the pieces. Usable pieces wise, probably, I want to say probably a good set of about 10 gears. Maybe a few different types of pulley systems. I would say 2 pulley systems and a broken battery. If you find a magical engineer, you can get it fixed, and then you would have a new battery. But as of right now, it is a non-functional Warforged core.
Does he have any good plating I could take?
Currently, no.
Okay.
Crystal. Okay. Once you kind of come to the conclusion, like, yeah, this doesn't look like I thought it was going to, and you're like, I'm gonna give it another try, and you kind of rearrange everything once again. This creature was human, just a larger sized human, not like not larger in the round sense, but a little more muscular than most humans you're used to. So that's what kind of caught you off guard the first time around. But once you kind of started putting pieces together, you realized, oh, this is a human, and you kind of get into the flow, and just like a simple little puzzle, with what parts you could find, you do manage to put a good portion of the body back together. You are missing the head. You can't really find where the head is, or if the head still exists.
That's fine. We can slap a fake one on there if we can't find it.
And one of the legs are currently missing. But other than that, the body is pretty much intact. So you've got the chest section, the waist kind of going into one leg because one of them is currently missing. Both arms are intact. They might be missing like a finger or two, and then no head.
Gotcha.
Nick, it's not very difficult for you. You do find a couple more identification badges, and you do find a couple of like family heirloom type stuff or just sentimental things. You take it back to the cart where the group of humans is currently loading the bodies. You hand it off to them, and they kind of put it in the bags and everything. And that's kind of about it. There's not really much else to it. You just kind of hand it off to the humans, and they pretty much know exactly what to do with it. Did anybody else want to do anything else?
Kind of search around just to be sure that there's nothing else of this body lying around.
Make an investigation check.
Maybe it's under a rock or something.
You were determined to put this man back together.
Oh, that's another nat one. Fate does not want me to complete this man.
You do not find anything else. You are assuming that since it seems like he took a direct blast from some type of fire spell, more than likely kind of a fireball, because of how generally charred and impactful it seemed like the blast was. You're assuming that the body parts you cannot find are either too far away or were disintegrated completely.
Yes, most likely. Alright. I'll sling it on my shoulder, and I'll throw it at the people loading up the truck.
Not
literally, but...
Here's the next problem there, Crystal. You go to sling the body over your shoulder, and the pieces just kind of back onto the ground.
How dare.
You can put the body together, per se, but it's going to take a little more oomping to make sure that these pieces stay together.
Oh,
So essentially, it's like you put a puzzle together and you wanted to make sure that it stays together, so you could maybe like put it in like a picture frame or something. You gotta super glue that shit together.
the cart can handle that. I'll just pick up.
So you're just gonna pick up the pieces and throw it on the cart?
Yep. And I'll put them in like its own little separate pile.
Already found all the pieces and kind of had them in a central area. You motion for the cart to come over. They slide over, and you just start picking up the pieces and just kind of throwing them onto the cart.
Yes. And I put it in its own little pile so that it's known that this is one person.
Yes, it is just one individual.
I know, but somebody might think it's two people. Hello?
Jesus, dude, I'm about to throw my Discord.
Oh no.
Don't throw
I'm just
your
gonna
Discord.
I'm just gonna pick up my computer. I'm gonna reach into the screen, grab Discord, and just yeet it.
No.
Did anybody else want to do anything?
Other than maybe attempt to bury some of the bodies.
Yeah, I say you can do that. The bodies that can't be identified, like they don't have anything on them that would pretty much identify what family or persons that they may belong to. They pretty much remain unclaimed and are kind of just left on the battlefield because they can't really do much with them. So I mean, you can probably spend the next hour burying as many people as you can. Since you are a smaller kobold, you could probably bury, I want to say, 5 or 6 individuals.
Okay.
Anybody else wanted to do anything for the next hour?
No.
Just work.
All right.
Yeah.
Burb, you want to do anything?
I will maybe look around for some coins, anything that looks shiny or, may have identifications on them, like a dog tag, or this world has dog tags.
They're not. Well, essentially, yeah. It's not quite like what we would know as dog tags. It's more of just a simple metal plate that's kind of just tied to like a simple thing of string that just has the individual's name and the family that they belong to. So it pretty much has the individual's name, and if they belong to like some noble house or something of that nature, it has that information on that. If not, it just has their significant other's name on it, so they know who to bring the body back to.
Okay.
I'll
just look for those.
Okay. I won't make you roll for that due to the fact that pretty much your job is to essentially do that. You don't really find any coin due to the fact that these guys were strictly soldiers, and if they did have coin, they probably left it at camp instead of bringing it with them onto the battlefield. So you don't find any coin, but you do find a couple more bodies that had identification tags. Once you do, you kind of call the cart over, make sure that the bodies get kind of placed in the cart comfortably, and you hand over the tags to the proper people. They kind of set them in their bags. Other than that, you don't really find anything else. The majority of armor is pretty badly dented, burned. Some seem like they kind of started to melt of sorts. So, The shiniest things you'll find are the identification tags. There really isn't much else.
I suppose the important question should be, can we find any other survivors?
Make an investigation check.
Nope, everyone here's dead.
Can I, while I'm trying to look for bodies, can I also see if there's any survivors?
Go for it. Investigation. Anybody else that wants to make an investigation for this purpose, you are more than welcome to.
Well, crap.
Okie dokie. Give me a second.
Oh, wait a minute, I didn't roll that right. I gave myself a 1 and not a 2. Crap. Hang on. I gotta re-roll that.
So you're at a 10?
I'll look as well.
How did I get lower than you guys?
You guys are not finding any survivors currently.
Investigation, right?
Yep, investigation.
He's a 14.
Okay. Crystal, while you are kind of in the process of throwing the body puzzle that you were just currently working on into the cart, you do hear a slight faint whimper. As you kind of walk over to it, you see that it's a small pile of bodies, about 3 of them, and you hear the whimper is seems like it's coming from underneath the pile. What are you doing?
Oh, yes. I am going to fling those bodies off of him.
It doesn't take a lot of effort. They're dead, of course. So you kind of start pushing the bodies off, and kind of once you make it to the bottom, you do see that there is this human female. She is dressed in more wizardly-like robes that are kind of a little singed. She looks very battered and beaten, a little blood kind of trickling down her head. But you do see that this is the person that was whimpering. You can see that the chest is kind of rising and lowering ever gently to indicate that she is currently breathing.
I will put my hand on their cheek and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. You can roll health if you want to, but you don't really need to.
I want to, because I want to see that number. That's 12.
I'm not even going to ask how you have a +7.
Don't worry about that.
What did you
Oh,
need?
wait, no, that's a +5. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. That would be 10.
I'm gonna flutter over there. And I also forgot to mention, I'm a winged kobold. I lost my brain, I don't know where it went. But I am a winged kobold, so I am flying right on over there to see what she's doing, digging through the bodies. Crystal, what are you doing? Oh.
I found me a lady.
I will land. And I will poke the lady. Are you okay?
Even with the cure wounds, you don't seem to get really any response from this woman. You can see that after you casted the spell, she is breathing normally now, but it seems like she is still currently unconscious. She's alive and she's looking a lot better, but she is still unconscious.
Okay, she's unconscious. I was about to say, if she's just not responding, I have a solution for this. I cast a message.
No, it's it's not that she's not responding. It's just she's currently unconscious. Some of the bruises and things that she had has kind of faded after you casted the spell. Her breathing went from a simple, just kind of gentle, kind of up and down to a more rhythmic in normal pace. So she is currently breathing, just unconscious.
What race?
She is human. The majority of the bodies that you're going to come across on this side is going to be human. There are going to be quite a few Warforged as well, because at this point in time, the humans are starting to implement Warforged into their forces to help kind of give themselves an advantage against the other races, due to the fact that in this case, humans are pretty much the weakest of the races. So you will find a couple of Warforged lying around, but the majority of the individuals you find on this side are going to be human. So she is very human.
Hey, Crystal.
Okie dokie.
Didn't that one lady say that she was heading back to that camp? Do you think this lady, and she's kind of gonna point with her little claw foot, do you think this lady belongs with them? Should we take her back?
Maybe.
Want to help me do that?
I'll sling her on my shoulder.
Now, just to clarify, we're on the human side, right? Or are we on what side were we?
You guys are mercenaries, so technically you're not on a side. It's just you are currently hired by the human empire.
So if she's human, should we not take her back to humans?
That is currently up to you on what you want to do. Because once again, you guys are mercenaries, so you don't technically have a side. You are pretty much there because the humans paid you enough money to do it.
Right, so I'm thinking we get a little extra bonus for bringing back somebody who's alive. And the Tiefling and Warforged left the human side because it was frowned upon.
What was frowned upon?
I thought them being together, yeah.
It wasn't the relationship, it was just the fact that there was a tiefling working with the humans. The majority of the humans do not like I don't want to say other races because I don't want to. Well, pretty much, yeah. They just don't particularly like other races because they understand that they are the weaker of the races, so they're pretty much being pushed to pretty much extinction at this point in time. So they're not very fond of other races. So it's not that their relationship per se is frowned upon. Most people don't really care. They just don't like the fact that there's a tiefling. But they still went to the human camp because they're both currently employed under the Human Empire Army.
Let's see.
Well, wouldn't that make them happy if we brought someone back alive, especially if we are hired by them? So,
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
You don't know. When you took the job, they really didn't say anything about finding survivors. So you're not certain on whether you get like any type of reward for finding any survivors. But
So then here's the dilemma I'm at then.
mm-hmm.
We take the human back, and then we get known as that group that's like, oh, these guys always go above and beyond. Or we don't need that stigma attached to us, and we don't want to disappoint, so we're just going to keep to the bare minimum expectations. What do we do?
I mean, you'll do you. I'm gonna bring this back.
I vote that we take her back. I think that's the morally correct thing to do. I just don't want people to expect things from us.
I mean, that would just be like if you're a yes man, then they will expect it from you. But then if they ask you to do something that's really dumb and extra, then you can just say no, and then they'll be like, okay, no, they're not that way.
I'm still for taking this individual back. I don't want to say I don't care about the stigma because a part of me sort of kind of does, but I'll live with it. It's just one time.
I mean, if we leave them here and they die from like an animal, then we have to come back and do our job again.
Anyway. I will sling this person on my shoulder. Ah. You there?
Brady.
We can't hear you. Brady, we can't hear you.
I wasn't talking.
Oh. Okay. Your ring lit up.
Nick, no. No.
Just saying, it's a
No.
possibility.
I'm gonna dissuade you from that by saying no. This is just a human wizard that got conscripted into an army she wanted nothing to do with, and just got put in a very, very bad situation.
She's just a squishy mage. It's fine.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We'll take her back.
She's not the PvEG. I'm just gonna get that out there right now. I know I'm not supposed to be saying stuff like this, but please God, do not kill this email wizard. She has done nothing.
Okie dokie. So now that this has happened, this gives me a little more hope. I'm gonna search around just one more time, just to be sure.
Go for it.
I'll help out with that.
All right.
And I
Anybody?
got the coral on my shoulder.
Nick, were you assisting Crystal?
Yeah,
or were you
I
gonna
was-
make your own?
You know what? No, I'll make my own roll. I gotta redeem myself for that 9.
All right. Anybody that wants to make another investigation for survivors, go ahead.
Redemption failed.
You got a 7.
I got a 17.
Got 15.
17.
Brady, Burb, did you guys want to make investigation?
No.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
What, Crystal? What?
Okay. You guys do find other survivors, but they particularly don't belong to the human empire. You do find a couple orcs that seem to kind of be getting up and kind of pushing off bodies and things, because orcs are pretty hardy, so quite a few of them that probably took just like a simple fire spell or maybe like a lighter slash, maybe just got knocked unconscious and are now currently coming back to consciousness. So you do find a couple of survivors in that nature, but you do not find any more survivors on the human side.
This is fine.
Do we
If
need
they're
to
getting
kill
up,
them?
they're good enough to go by themselves. And what was that, Mandy?
I said, do we need to kill them, or are
That's
they
not our
aggressive?
job.
Well, I mean, are they aggressive at us?
No. So with how, even though like all these different empires are currently at war, there is certain rules in place during this war. So this is one of the times where peace is just pretty much law. So after large battles of this nature, pretty much peace is just kind of set in, and depending on the sides that are currently taking part in the fight, neither side is allowed to take any aggression towards the other side as long as they are out there kind of collecting their dead.
Okay.
So no, they are currently not aggressive. They just look very tired, very beaten, and are just kind of slumping their way towards the direction of the orc camp.
Can we talk to them?
Does anybody speak orc?
I'm a half orc.
Oh, well, I mean, Brady can. The majority of different races usually stick to speaking their native languages because they haven't quite particularly adopted Common as kind of an average language for pretty much everybody. So the majority of the races tend to speak their native languages. So currently the only one in your party that can really talk to them would be Brady, due to him being a half-orc and knowing orc.
Well, Brady, are you gonna talk to him or not?
Gonna be completely honest, I don't know what to fucking do right now.
You can do whatever you want, Brady. Just tell me what you want to do.
There's not a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is just this part of the session was more of a kind of getting everybody used to each other. But I mean, you can still try and interact with the orcs if you want to.
So, I might as well.
All right, so you're gonna walk over.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna call out to the orc, or are you just kind of hoping that he sees you?
I'm just gonna walk over.
Okay. As you kind of walk over, the orc that was kind of not like hanging in the back on purpose. He's significantly slower than the others that seem to kind of have come back to consciousness and are kind of heading towards the camp. This one seems to have some sort of leg injury. That's why he's kind of moving a little bit slower. But he kind of turns at you in an orcish. He kind of just simply looks at you. What do you want?
I figured I'd come over for a conversation, not looking to cause trouble.
What would you like to conversate about?
Well, as an icebreaker, how about that leg of yours?
He's gonna look down at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. A lot of shit happened on this battlefield. I don't really know what particularly caused the leg injury. I'm assuming probably the big ass explosion I took, but that was kind of the last thing I remember.
Would I know if my party would exactly have a medic?
I mean, food is medicine for the soul. Battlefield probably not the place to be cooking, though.
Okay, nurse boy.
Burb, what is your class?
I'm a druid.
You don't technically have a medic. You could probably ask your druid.
I have a little something too. I can give 2d6 temporary hit points.
That's fake health.
What?
I mean, it is fake health, but I mean,
I want that real shit.
I can give advantage on Constitution checks, and it gains 2d6 temporary hit points.
Wait, what's going on?
We're trying to heal the orc man.
Heal the orc? Okie dokie, I'll slap him on the back.
Not kill.
Kill.
I'll slap him on the back and give him a nice cure wounds.
Here we go, guys. First session. You have committed a war crime.
Yay! I heal for 10.
Crystal, it's on the leg, not the head.
I didn't say the head.
It's still cure wounds, so it's going to affect the entirety of the body. I'm not going to make you guys be that specific about that stuff unless you are using like not a mess kit,
A healer's kit.
Yeah, a healer's kit. If you're using a healer's kit, I will require a little more specification because it is more specialized. But if you're using just simple healing spells, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you didn't say his leg, so you just happened to heal his face, even though it wasn't messed up.
I didn't say his face though. I slapped
I
him
know.
on the back.
I know. I'm just as an example.
It looks as if a plastic surgeon went to his face.
Yes. What was
So,
that, Mandy?
Oh, I said if you slap his face, he becomes handsome Squidward.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Ah, but
Heal
of
his
course.
ugliness.
that's fucking fantastic. Thank you, Mandy. You've made my day so much better. So Crystal, you rush over, you place your hand on the back of this orc, cast your cure wounds. He looks significantly better. He kind of looks down at his leg. He kind of gives it like a little shake and kind of moves it around a little bit. And then he looks at you, and in a language you don't understand, Brady, he essentially says, "Thank you."
I'll kind of like smile and nod awkwardly and give a thumbs up.
Joe Crystal, he said thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
I cast Hellish Rebuke.
Wait,
On who?
Who attacked you?
how?
Don't never forget it.
What?
I was joking. It's fine.
What?
Okay.
Continue on. It's just it's my
Nobody
most
attacked you.
it's my most damaging spell.
Okay.
Oh, I get it now.
That was out of nowhere.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
to
I
use
was-
Hellish Rebuke, somebody needs to attack you first, and that's what
I
I was
was-
confused about.
I was very caught off by that, and I was like, I really hope he aimed that at somebody that's in the party and not the orc, because that's pretty much a war crime, and this statue gonna take a drastic turn.
Oh dear.
Well, who's there?
Geneva
that witnessed us
Convention,
heal
never heard
this
of it.
dude?
There's currently a corpse carriage on the orc side with a bunch of orcs around it. Plus, there's also the human carriage with a bunch of humans around it.
Oh.
You guys are just in the middle of this pretty much wide open field. There are like trees and like what's left of a forest kind of around, but you're essentially in just this big open field.
Okay, but may I argue the following? If it is if it's a peace treaty, right? And we're only just collecting dead and helping people, I mean, we're not supposed to just blatantly kill them anyway, and if we're just being helpful, I don't see what the issue would be. It's not like we said, yeah, we're gonna join the orcs now. But my other question is, the humans we're working for, since Brady is a half-orc, are they like in the ballpark of like being pissed at him too, or what's going on with that?
They're not. This is one of those like kind of weirder kind of things. They don't like him per se, but they tolerate him due to the fact that you guys are mercenaries. So pretty much you guys will take on any job that the humans or any other side can't particularly handle. So they can't really complain about you guys, but they don't have to like you.
I can breathe in dragon.
What?
That is all.
Okay.
What?
Okie dokie.
I can breathe in dragon, so what?
You can breathe in dragon.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
This is good.
I don't.
This is nice. This is good.
This will come to light later. Don't worry about it. It's just a part of the UA thing.
Okay.
Let's do our job, people. Come on.
We're gonna move on then. I'm going to avoid that I don't understand situation. So for the next hour, you guys kind of help the corpse carriage pick up as many bodies as they currently can. You guys were only hired for the day. This is a job that's probably going to take a couple of days, but you guys were only hired for this one day. So after about another hour, the corpse carriage is finally kind of fully loaded, can't really take any more, and you all start to head back to the human camp. After about 25-30 minutes, you guys reach the camp. You head over to the head tent where the current general is. You kind of peek your head in. The general is a shorter human male, probably at about a good 5'6", 5'7". Long blonde, like a blondish brown, so like a dirty brown beard and hair. The beard is kind of braided up like kind of like Viking style of sorts, so it just kind of comes to a long point that has like a lot of twists and turns in it. But he's kind of just standing there staring at a map, and he looks slightly frustrated. What you doing?
Hey, boss, we found a living person.
He's gonna whip around to you. You found a survivor?
At least one. I mean, there could have been more, but this just happened to be the one we found.
That's pretty much expected for our fights. That's actually more than usual.
If it makes you feel better, I think it's a wizard. Not entirely sure. I don't really deal with all this magic stuff.
Okay, I'll take that into account. And he pulls out a pouch. He's going to set it on the table. This is your agreed upon amount for the day. It's 100 gold, and then he's going to throw in an extra 60 for the survivor.
This is for all of us to split.
That is correct. The 100 gold is for your for you guys essentially protecting and assisting the corpse carriage, and then the 60 gold is for retrieving the survivor.
Alrighty, so everybody gets 26 gold, one person gets 27. Who wants the extra gold piece?
I think that would go to Crystal for finding the person.
Okay, okay. Crystal gets 27, the rest of us get 26.
I'm also going to post XP in the chat, because you are getting XP for repairing the Warforged, and you are getting XP for finding the survivor.
Were we starting out at a certain number of points to begin with, or just 0?
It would just be whatever you would pretty much be starting at the very beginning of level 3, which I think is 900 experience points.
I believe so.
All right, so you all are going to get 100 XP, 50 for fixing the Warforged, 50 for finding the survivor.
Okie dokie.
It's good.
After he sets your guys' payment on the table in front of you, and you guys kind of divvy it out to each other, he's going to place a a very nicely wrapped up piece of paper in front of you. This is your next assignment if you wish to take it.
I'll take a peek-see at it.
I
But
will
really, shit.
Yeah, same.
I'll flutter over.
All right. So you kind of take the scroll. You kind of pull off the little ribbon that was holding the scroll together. You open it up. It just kind of it's kind of a simply drawn map of the general area. And as you're kind of looking at the map, he's going to look at you guys. We've heard reports of some strange creatures mulling about in the woods. They've attacked a couple of our sentries, and we were wondering if you guys would be willing to find said creatures and deal with them. We're not sure exactly what the creatures are, due to the fact that none of our scouts really got a good chance to see what creatures they were, if they even came back alive. So there's not much really information that I can really give you on the creature itself. And then he's going to point to the map, but I did mark the locations of where our scout parties were attacked. So that can give you a better idea of how to narrow down the creature.
And just out of curiosity, what is your negotiated price for dealing with this unknown entity?
Depending on how many creatures and how big the creatures are is going to kind of determine the payment. If it's a smaller creature, it's probably going to be about 10 gold per creature. If it's a kind of medium, like probably human-sized creature, probably a good 25 to 30. If it's going to be a larger, probably going to be 50 gold per creature. And if it's kind of bigger than, I want to say, Goliath, then it's probably going to be 100 gold per creature.
Now, negotiation. You don't know anything about this beast, so we could just be stumbling into, say, hypothetically, a dragon. I think our lives are a little bit worth more than 20 gold pieces, 50 gold pieces. So, how about for each of those numbers you say double it?
Make persuasion.
Alright, guys, I'm good at these.
Oh, you just jinxed yourself.
For the money.
14. You know, we won't double. We'll say an extra 15%.
He kind of looks at you and he says, all right, since I'm not providing that much information, I can say I can bump up each kind of general price by 15 gold. So if it's a small creature, instead of being 25, it will be 40. If it's a medium-sized creature, instead of 30, it'll be 45. If it's a large creature, it will now go up to 65. And if it's an even larger creature, it'll be about 115 gold pieces per creature.
Does that work for everybody else?
That's
I'll
cute.
nod.
I shake my head, yes.
Alright, boss, we're in.
Locally.
All right. And then he's going to kind of shift over to you guys, and he's going to point on the map. It's kind of it's in like a northeast kind of direction, a little bit towards the orc camp. This is the last set of scouts that we had attacked, so I recommend starting there. But be very careful due to the fact that this is relatively close to the orc camp.
Mandy's going to interject. If this is a hypothetical question, But if we do kill an orc while we're out there and we bring back their heads, do those count as well?
Please do not harm the orcs.
I mean, if they attack.
If they did, then that is a bigger problem for the orcs. They know just as well as us if they break this piece that we have set for this specific circumstance that we're currently in. It's not going to go well for them. So I highly doubt the orcs did it. If they did, please come notify me so I can notify the correct people, and they will deal with the orcs. I will pay you, of course, if it does turn out to be the orcs. I will go ahead and give you the full 115 if it does turn out to be the orcs. But if it is the orcs, please do not harm them. Just come back to me immediately and inform me of the situation.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So now that you guys have your next assignment and you have the general idea of where you guys need to go, what are you doing? You guys can explore the camp. There's not really much about the camp. They don't really have like a forge set up currently. They do have like a simple apothecary that's kind of selling a few simple potions. There is a tailor to help fix up some of the leather armor and things. The only thing they're currently really missing is a forge, due to the fact that they don't really have anybody that's really experienced with forging in the camp.
So there's no way to like get a weapon if we wanted to.
I mean, I can BS a forge, but that doesn't solve the problem of not having a blacksmith.
You could probably find some extra weapons that are kind of lying around, because once again, the majority of the human regiment was pretty much decimated, so there's probably plenty of weapons that are now unclaimed kind of lying around. So, I mean, if you ask around, you could probably find a few extra weapons if you needed them. You just can't get anything really upgraded or improved at this point in time.
Just out of curiosity, would an artificer be good at forging?
That depends on where you put your proficiencies.
Did you take blacksmith tools as a proficiency?
Sadly, no. So I'm going to guess no, I do not have it.
No. You wanted to be an alchemist, correct? So you're probably proficient with alchemy, with an alchemy set. Lucas? Did I die?
Sorry, my thing wasn't on. But I wanted to be a arch. I can't even say that.
An artillerist?
Yes.
Question: what is that?
I have the...
pretty much like a weapon specialist almost.
Okay.
I'll see if I can't pull it up.
Usually artificers would be pretty much really good in these situations. It just pretty much depends on where you put your proficiencies.
Okay.
Some people will take the proficiencies in the alchemy set so they can make potions. Some will take the tinker's proficiencies so they can upgrade weapons or make arrows, things of that nature.
Yeah, an artillerist specializes using magic to hurl energy, projectiles, and explosions on the battlefield.
Okay. So, as it stands right now, since your proficiencies aren't in blacksmithing, you really couldn't do much. But once again, you could probably walk around and find some now unclaimed weapons if you really needed them. It's just at this point you can't really get anything upgraded or improved.
Yes.
Oh.
I want to do this.
What are you looking for specifically? because I can kind of give you a general itemized list of what you may find. But if you're looking for something in particular, I can tell you whether you're going to find it or not.
Things in particular is 2 hand crossbows and rapier.
You can easily find a
And
rapier. There were plenty of smaller. A good portion of like the smaller humans, so probably anywhere between like 5'5" and like 5'8", they do tend to use rapiers due to the fact that they're lighter and kind of easier to move around with their small stature. So it's pretty easy to come across a rapier, but hand crossbows, no, they have full size like light crossbows and heavy crossbows, but not any hand one.
Okay, then I assume there's bolts.
Yes, you can easily find crossbow bolts.
Then I'll just take the quiver with bolts. Or however many there is.
Each quiver contains 20 bolts.
How many quivers are there?
Enough to supply a decently sized army, so there's probably a good 100 and 150 quivers of bolts. Because remember, this is a pretty large regiment of the human army. It's just now they are not as large, so a good portion of these bolts are no longer going to be used.
Gotcha. I'll take 4 quivers.
I'm just gonna need to get some components here because I don't have anything because I'm stupid.
You don't have any components?
No, I didn't take the components pouch. I took the adventurers set.
Oh,
yeah.
That's okay, because there's plenty of wizards you could probably find. You could probably go around and ask a couple wizards to see if they'd be willing to give up a couple of their different components. So what kind of components are you looking for?
So I don't need a whole lot. I need soot and salt, but being a fire sorcerer, I can make my own soot. Being a cook, I probably have my own salt, so that's not a big deal.
Okay, so you're good on those.
Since I don't wear armor, I need a piece of cured leather for mage armor.
That'll be really easy. You just have to go to the seamstress area because they are currently working on repairing some of the leathers and things for the army. So you can find some cured leather there.
Okay, I'm going to need some fur from a beast.
That would be a little more difficult to come by due to the fact that they currently aren't hunting due to the fact that they brought a good size portion of rations to feed the army. And now they have an excess of rations due to the fact that their army was pretty much just decimated.
That's fine. I can do stuff with that too.
So they don't really have any furs. You are more than welcome to kind of hunt around and see if you can find some animals that you can get the fur off of. But you can't particularly find that in the camp.
That's fine. We're going out in a day or so, so I'm sure I'll come across something.
Okay.
And then this is more wizardry. I need a snake's tongue and a bit of honeycomb.
The snake's tongue, no, but you do find plenty of wizards that have a couple of pieces of honeycomb on them. So I'll say you could find the honeycomb pretty easily, but the snake's tongue is going to be a little more difficult to come across.
That's fine. Yeah, at some point I'll just go and purchase those.
Also, actually, I will take a light crossbow.
You'll take a light crossbow?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and add a light crossbow, and you said you were taking 4 quivers?
Hell yeah.
All right, add a light crossbow and 80 bolts to your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And were you taking the rapier as well?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and add that to your inventory. What did you need, Lucas?
I would like to search for a shield.
There are plenty lying around, so if you want to use a shield, you are more than welcome to, but I believe you have to have proficiencies. You have to have a proficiency in shields to be able to use it. if I'm
Okay,
not mistaken.
never mind then.
No, yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
Then I'll just grab a few more bolts for my crossbow.
Okay. How many quivers did you want to take? Remember, each quiver carries 20 arrows, and there's currently sitting at about 146 quivers left.
I'll take about 3, I want to say? Yeah, 3.
All right, go ahead and add 60 bolts to your inventory.
Thank you.
Question: would there be any like two-handed like swords that would be me sized? That's the other concern I have.
No. There are humans that are a little bit shorter, but not quite that short. So any two-handed swords that you find are still going to be pretty big for you.
Darn it.
But if you want to take a two-handed sword, and there really isn't a forge, but there is a grinding stone to keep the weapons sharpened. So you could probably take it over there and see if they can sand it, essentially kind of sand it down for you, and kind of see if they can kind of generally get it to match your height.
Okay, because I'm looking for a great sword.
That'll be pretty easy to come across. And I'll say, just for sake of continuity, if you take it over to the grinding stone, the fellow that's kind of there just taking some of the axes and swords and things, or kind of making sure they're all sharp, you could probably go up to him and ask him and see if he can kind of file it down for you and kind of get it to match your size.
Okay, she will take a great sword and she will kind of waddle over with it to the man that's doing the grindstoning and ask him, "Do you think you can make this me-sized, please?"
Yeah,
Literally, just
it-
her holding it up with two hands.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll have to do a little work on the pommel and handguard too. But it should only take me a good 20-30 minutes. It won't take me very long to do that. But yeah, I can do that for you.
Thank you. And she'll hand off the sword to him.
He's going to kind of take it, and you're going to see that he's going to start with the pommel first. So he's kind of just going to get the grindstone started and kind of just start kind of shaving away at some of the excess metal, and kind of just making the pommel a little bit shorter, so it's a little easier for you to grab. He shortens the handguards a little bit because they were kind of pointing out pretty far due to the fact that these are traditionally built for larger creatures. And then he kind of moves on to the blade. So after about, I would say, a good 15, 20 minutes, he kind of cuts down everything for you. It is still a little bit big, but nothing that's going to cause any disadvantage or anything like that. So it is a little bit bigger, but it will function for your size.
Yay! She will put that on her back then, and she is good for the moment.
All right. Brady, did you need anything?
No, not particularly. There's not a lot I can do.
Okay. Did anybody else want anything else? There's a couple other weapons that you can pick from, like there's a couple of pikes, spears, maces, things of that nature.
You said there was a potion area. Am I correct?
Yes, there is currently an apothecary. They are selling a couple of health potions. They do have some fire resistance, and let's see, last one. Hold on, I gotta check my notes.
Actually, if there is in the battlefield or just laying around, if there is any like leftover light crossbows and bolts, I would snatch one of those.
That's pretty easy since you guys are in the camp. There are plenty of unclaimed weapons now, so if you want to take a light crossbow and take a couple quivers, you are more than welcome to. There's currently 143 quivers still, with 20 arrows per quiver.
Okay, I'll just take I'll take 3.
All right. So, and are you taking a light crossbow as well?
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and add a light crossbow and 60 bolts to your inventory. And the last potion that the apothecary currently has is a potion of haste.
I'll like to buy 2 potions of healing and 1 of fire resistance.
Okay, let's see. Nick, would you happen to know the prices of those off the top of your head?
What am I looking for?
Potion of healing and potion of fire resistance.
Potion of healing is usually 50 gold pieces.
Okay.
And I know fire resistance gets kind of expensive if I can find it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. I will not be able to afford them at all. Then.
You should have enough for the potion of fire resistance.
How much is the fire resistance?
I am looking up the price right now. Give me a second.
So it doesn't say. It says it's uncommon, which usually ballparks like upward of 150 to 300.
Yeah, I'm good. Then. Wait.
Yeah, this is a simple. This is a simple potion of fire resistance, so it would probably run about 150 gold, and the health potions are a little bit cheaper due to the fact that they're kind of mass producing them. So I would say each health potion is probably about 25 gold a piece. So with your current gold count, you could get 1 health potion.
Yeah, I'll get 1 health potion.
All right, subtract 25 gold and add a health potion to your inventory.
Thank you. That will be all.
Anybody else?
I'm just going to say, if it's fair to you, I'm just going to drop 2 gold for those materials that we talked about. I'm not going to just take things from people.
Yeah, that sounds about fair due to the fact that the materials that you're collecting are pretty common currently.
Especially since wizards need to use them more than I do. At least I'm just going to pay my share for them.
Yeah, 2 gold. 2 gold would be fine. So go ahead and just subtract 2 gold. I feel like that's fair. Anybody else wanted to do anything before you decide to set off or whatever you wanted to do?
Nope, I'm good.
No, thanks. That's good.
All right, so you guys gonna start heading towards the location of the scouting party then?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys make your way out of the camp and kind of head northeast a little bit towards the orc camp. After about 45 minutes, you do come across a very gruesome sight. There currently isn't any bodies due to the fact that they were recovered, but there are quite a few trees that are pretty much splattered with blood and different entrails of sorts. I don't know how violent I can get. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
It's nice.
But
More the merrier.
it looks like something very bad happened here.
That's not gruesome. That's just fertilizer for the trees. It's fine.
Okay.
I'd like to investigate.
Go for it. Roll investigation. Anybody else that wants to do so can do so.
Sure, I'll take a closer look.
I will say, now that we're out of town, I'm just kind of going to just speak out to the masses here. So I propose, the orcs don't know that we just got rehired. They don't have to know we just got rehired. Maybe we just decide to pick up some work for the orcs as well, and that's just extra coinage. If that's an option for anybody, I know some loyalties are very single-lined. Just figured we'd be in the area. Maybe they have the same issue. We just cashed in 2 for 1.
And suppose
I
this
mean,
gets
I don't
word
see
to
why
the
not,
humans.
but I'm gonna have to be the translator.
Okay, that'll be fine with me.
If they don't attack us, I guess that would be okay. If the whole party's gonna wander into camp.
Well, you guys currently are, along with your usual clothes that you wear, you all do currently have a symbol somewhere on your person. I will let you decide where that is, but this symbol, it's kind of a combination of like a cross and just a simple circle. So it's like a cross, and then it has like kind of circles kind of connecting the 4 pieces. And this kind of indicates that you are part of the mercenary guild. So if you do head into the orc camp, they're not going to attack you or anything, because they're going to understand that you guys are part of the mercenary guild and are more than likely looking for work.
I know where I want mine. Hanging off of my horns. Both of them.
I'm just gonna do the casual shoulders.
Okay.
I'm going to do mine on a belt buckle.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little fancy, and I'll do it like that bracelet to ring set.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then mine, I'll just have it strapped to one of my legs with a leather strap.
Okay. Did you guys want to go ahead and continue with the investigation before you headed into the orc camp, or do you want to kind of backpedal a little bit and head into the orc camp first?
I'd like to see what did it.
Yeah, because that conversation would have happened out there, not near the camp, I'm assuming.
Yeah, this would have been when we were
Okay.
like well outside the camp.
Okay. So since we're kind of just going to continue with the investigation first, Mandy and Brady, you do both notice that along some of the blood spatter trees, there are some pretty decently sized claw marks. You're not entirely sure what kind of creature made them, but you're assuming it's probably Goliath side.
Can
That's nice.
I was wondering if I could roll survival to see maybe what it would be. If I could pick it up somehow.
I
Yeah.
would also like to do this if possible. Okay.
Yeah, if you guys wanna roll survival to see if you can kind of pick up a little more information about these claw marks, you're more than welcome to.
19.
Okay.
I don't know shit.
Brady, you have never really seen claw marks like this before. You've seen some that are similar to it, but not quite as large. Mandy, you're kind of confused on why these marks are so large. With you being a kobold, you are actually quite familiar with this race of creature. These claw marks came from a gnoll, but they're very large for a gnoll.
Okay, I'm a little smooth brain, but can you tell me what a gnoll is? Or anybody?
It's like a dog person.
Yeah,
Essentially.
it's essentially a dog person. They're probably about the size of your average human.
Hyena man.
But when it comes to these claw marks, it seems like this creature is significantly larger than your standard gnome.
Oh dear. See,
Hmm.
can I put 2 and 2 together and say this might be a werewolf in character?
Because you rolled a 19. Because you rolled a 19, I'm just going to kind of come out straight. It is not a werewolf. This just happens to be a more advanced gnoll.
Okay.
You're
So,
not sure why it's particularly advanced. It might be enhanced by magic of sorts or something of that nature, but it is not a werewolf.
Okay. I'm gonna relay this information to the rest of the party.
What are you guys doing with this information?
It's
Well,
fun.
now that we
Keep
know
it
what
open
it
up.
is, we can use this to advantage when we go talk to the orcs. Let them know it's like, hey, we heard rumors of a gnoll problem. Just wondering if you guys needed some exterminators.
Right. So you're gonna head into the orc camp then.
Yeah.
I'll take Brady with me because I know I can't speak orc.
Yeah, I'm gonna huddle behind Brady.
Okay.
Same.
Crystal, are you following as well?
I suppose so.
When you're the most important person in the party at the moment.
It's okay.
Um,
We'll just kill you when we're done with you.
So wait a minute.
Kill you, take all your shit, and leave.
No.
All right.
Not if I breathe lightning.
So you guys head into the orc camp. Brady, you kind of ask around to try and figure out where the head orc is kind of stationed. Most of the orcs kind of point to the tent that is significantly larger than the rest. You kind of head in. You see this like greenish blue orc standing at a little bit taller than most orcs. Probably, I don't know what the average size for orcs are. I think it's what 6 foot, 6 foot like 5. I think that's the average for orcs.
Yeah, they're about like human size, maybe like a little bit bigger.
Okay, so this orc is a little bit taller than most. Standing at probably a good 6'4", 6'5". So not much taller, but a little bit. And he does seem to carry this more the military like kind of presence to him. When you enter the tent, he's kind of peering down on a map. He's got his arms kind of clasped behind his back. And he's just kind of taking a look at this map. And once again, just like the human leader, he looks very frustrated.
I'm gonna walk in and just kind of let myself be known. Just
I'll go in with Brady.
Is everybody going in?
Yes.
I won't
Great.
understand a word, but sure.
Okay.
I feel safe with the tall half-orc man. It's fine.
I'm gonna say this now. As the orc talks, I am going to like quietly relay the information to the rest of the party.
That's fine. In situations like this, so you don't have to point it out, unless you specifically state you are not relaying this information, everyone can pretty much just assume that this information is being relayed to them as it happens, so we can kind of just roll through that general awkwardness, because there are going to be quite a few situations in this campaign where a lot of people aren't going to understand what is going on, due to the fact that, once again, the majority of the races stick to their natural languages.
What I will do, just in case things start getting a little muddled, I'm just gonna cast Comprehend Languages on myself. Just gonna put a little bit of soot and salt on my tongue. Give it a little couple clicks from the roof of the mouth, so I can understand any spoken language. I just can't speak it.
Okay. Hi, Bird.
Ah, yes.
Welcome back. You guys are currently in the orc camp.
Oh, okay. What did I miss?
Don't worry.
Did you hear about the job that was given to the group? I can't remember.
Maybe?
No.
We
She
were
went to go
assigned
eat.
to kind of go around some of these spy camps that the humans set up, and some of them have been attacked by some unknown entity. So we're just kind of off investigating.
Oh, okay.
And during that investigation, you did find out that the creature that has been attacking is a gnoll, not an ordinary gnoll. A little bit larger than most gnolls, probably enhanced by something. You guys are currently in the orc camp to see if you can kind of work both sides to make a little bit of extra money. So you guys are currently in the orc camp to see if you can see if the orcs are having the same problem, and see if you can get some money out of them as well.
What is a gnoll? What is that?
I posted it in dice rolls.
There's a
It's
picture.
basically a dog person.
Hyena.
Well, that's cool. Okay. All right.
It's
Good to
a
know.
hyena, man.
So you guys are currently in the tent of the head orc. Brady, you entered first. Nick, you cast Comprehend Languages. And all of this information is going to be relayed to you by Brady. So, Brady, did you want to speak first?
Like I said before, I was just letting myself be known that I'm in the room.
Okay.
Since his back is turned to us.
Okay. So he kind of turns around towards you guys, and he kind of takes his hand and pushes, because he's currently wearing a set of glasses. They don't look like normal glasses that you would see on like humans. Of course, they look a little bit different because they have to be built kind of bigger because of orc stature and everything. So he kind of pushes up his, and they'd be closer to goggles per se, just because of the sheer size of them. But he kind of pushes these pair of glasses up, looks at you. What are you doing here?
Sorry to intrude, but we were sent by the mercenary group. Or wait, what? Fuck, I forgot!
We're just here. We heard of rumors of a gnoll issue in the area, and we were just wondering if you had already hired some others to take care of this issue for you.
His expression changes from frustration to a kind of relief look. Let's see, how's he gonna... He looks at you, let's see. We weren't sure that they were gnolls, so I'm glad somebody finally kind of affirmed that for us. But we have not hired anybody to take care of them. But if you are looking for a job, we would be more than happy to pay you to take care of these gnolls.
I believe that can be arranged.
And similar to the human general, he's going to hand you a piece of paper. It's not as well taken care of, and it's not wrapped up. And the map that's on it is not very well drawn, but you can essentially see that north of the orc camp, they've kind of circled like a little area that looks like mountains. It just looks like a bunch of triangles were drawn on the map, essentially. So you're in assumption, more than likely it would be mountains, and they've kind of circled an area on the mountain and kind of drew like what looks like a cave of sorts. So essentially the map is pointing you towards a cave that they believe the gnolls are residing inside of.
Okay, and I do want to... I'm going to ask this now. Like, is there any Orcish script on here, like a written language? Because that's... Because I've actually recently figured out a lot of the languages that are written, a lot of them are just Dwarven.
Yeah, there's not a lot of writing on it. There is just kind of a note in the top right corner of the map that just explains this cave is believed to be the home of the creatures that have been attacking the scouting parties.
Yeah. But if anybody does understand Dwarven...
The same issues that the humans are, some of their scouting parties have been being attacked by these creatures. So they weren't 100% certain on what these creatures were. They had an idea. But since you guys kind of came in and affirmed their idea of it, they now know that this cave is exactly where these creatures reside.
Okay, don't. So to answer Brady's question,
I'm gonna kill Discord.
I do speak Dwarven.
All right, then. I know for Orcish at the very least, their written language is the same as Dwarven written language. They're just spoken differently.
Gotcha. And then with comprehend languages, I can read text, but I have to be touching the text when I read it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little slow. I gotta just take my finger and follow along. But well, my good man, we'll be glad to take up this offer. Now, to negotiate price.
We are currently offering 30 gold for the normal gnoll heads, and we're offering 100 gold for the let's say boss gnoll.
I'm gonna turn to Brady. You know, I wonder if the humans would do it for more. I think they would charge about 40 for a gnoll head, maybe 150 for their leader.
Essentially, that is actually correct. In this situation, the gnolls, the humans would pay about 50 gold. Well, since you negotiated an extra 15 gold, they would essentially, yeah.
He's trying to haggle.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I didn't realize that was in character. My bad.
No, you're good.
Make. Oh, go ahead, Brady.
Okay, so I wouldn't relay that. I'm gonna say that now. Like, I wouldn't relay that to the orc boss because I don't take it that he would understand Nick, or would he?
You're not entirely sure whether he does or not. He does see when Nick speaks, he does seem to kind of focus on him and seems like he understands, but you're not quite certain if he does or not.
Nicholas, we'll talk about this later. So, what information do you have on these gnolls?
We're not sure about the amount of gnolls. We just know that there is currently what we reference as a boss gnoll. We're not sure what he's enhanced by, but he's significantly larger than the average gnolls. and it seems like he has some type of magical capabilities to him.
And what are the extent to these magical capabilities?
We're not quite certain. We didn't really see any aggressive style of seemed more defensive and supportive. Anytime any of our scouts tried to attack it, it seemed like some invisible force stopped these attacks. And when other gnolls went in for attacks, it seemed like they had a little more pep to their step, per se.
Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna nod and just keep a mental note about all that.
Okay. Nick, did you want to try and haggle the prices?
I want to say yes, but no, I'll leave it be because we're already getting more. Because we only need to bring the heads back here and then just let the humans know we dealt with it. So just bring back a hand or something. So we're good. I don't need to haggle.
Okay.
I'm already getting a 2-for-1.
So as it stands right now, the humans are going to pay you about 50 gold a piece for the normal gnolls, and about 100. Well, no, it'd be 65 gold pieces because you did negotiate an extra 15. So it'd be 65 gold pieces per regular gnoll, and 115 for the boss. And the orcs are going to pay 30 gold pieces per regular gnoll, and 100 for the boss gnoll. The reason that they are paying less for the regular size gnolls is because of the fact without that boss gnoll, the orcs could easily take the gnolls. So they're paying more for the boss gnoll because that's their real problem.
Right.
But that is currently the price set. And you now have a map that's kind of pointing you towards a cave north of the orc camp. And the map is kind of to scale. For what you can see, it's probably going to be about an hour's walk.
Okie dokie.
Alright. I'll take that deal.
Okay. He's gonna look at you. If you guys need any supplies or anything, go ahead and take them. We aren't going to be very stingy about what you need to bring back from the gnolls. We'll happily take teeth, fingers, just anything that proves that the gnoll is dead. We will pay a little bit extra if you do bring us the boss gnoll's head. But we only require fingers, toes, teeth, or anything of that nature.
Of course.
But if you do want to bring us the heads, that would be very nice.
Now, I will ask this now. If, let's say that there's some elemental damage to the carcass, how would that affect it?
We'd still... are you asking, like, if the orcs tried hitting it with, like, elemental magic?
Essentially, yes, because, I mean, I have a breath weapon. I pretty much have a breath weapon.
He's gonna look a little confused at your question, but after pondering it for a minute, he's gonna kind of come to an understanding. I'm not quite certain due to the fact that we don't really have a lot of magic users in our army. So we really didn't get a chance to test any type of elemental damage on the creatures.
Alright. Well, I think I've asked everything I need to ask. And I'm gonna turn to the rest of the party. Do any of you have any questions?
I do have one more question. Do any of you guys have any beast fur on you?
I will.
He's actually going to look at Nick, and he's going to speak to you, Brady. Well, he's going to look at Nick, but he's going to talk in Orcish, and say, yes, we do happen to have a couple of furs from. We hunted a couple of wolves. We have some deer skin as well.
And I will relay that to Nick.
I mean, if you could spare just a little piece, or a big, whichever you prefer, doesn't matter if it's available.
You're more than welcome to take whatever supplies that you need, as long as you take care of those gnomes.
Well, then I'd appreciate that.
Did anybody else have any questions? This orc can't speak common, but he does understand it.
Nope.
Nope, I'm pretty good.
Burb, you got any questions?
No.
God, it feels like my eyeballs are trying to glue shut.
Don't do
All right.
that.
So, Nick, you want to go ahead and do you need like a large portion, and do you need like a specific kind of fur, or is it just any?
Well, so I'll leave this up to you. So it's for the spell enhance ability, and there's 6 different subcategories. So if you want to rule it that I need the fur or feather of that specific beast, because I got bear's endurance, bull strength, eagle's splendor, fox's cunning, and owl's wisdom. So if like any beast or if any fur will do, or if it needs to be that specific creature, I'll just leave that up to you.
I'll rule it this way. For the eagle's splendor or the owl's wisdom, just a simple bird feather will be fine.
Okay.
For the fox's cunning and the cat's grace, any feline type creatures, bit of fur will be fine. And for the bull and bear, you would need some type of strong creature. So I would rule that wolf's hide would work for bear's endurance and bull's strength.
Okie dokie, that's all I needed.
So out of all of those, if you take some of the wolf's hide, you will be able to use bear's endurance and bull strength. But the others are currently not available because they don't have any feline hair and they don't have any feathers.
That's fine. That's acceptable.
But if you did need feathers, you could probably take apart a couple of arrows, because fletching is usually made out of bird feathers.
Okie dokie.
Just as a side note. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and take one of the sets of... because they have about 5 wolf skins kind of like hanging up and drying. If you want a small portion, it'll probably cost you about 1 gold per pound of fur. If you want to take the whole just fur set, it would probably cost about 7 gold for the cheapest one.
What about for the most well taken care of fur? Because now I have an idea.
For the one that has the least amount of damage to it, for the whole thing, it would be 10 gold. If you're just taking a small portion, it would probably be about 2 or 3 gold.
Nope, I'm just going to take the whole skin.
Okay, that would be 10 gold then.
And I'm going to just wear it like a, like they did in Hercules, where he's just wearing it as like a cape. That's how I'm wearing it.
Okay. Did anybody else want anything from the camp? This camp does happen to have a blacksmith and forge on station. So if you wanted to get anything looked at, maybe get I don't think any of you guys have enough money to get like any really good enhancements, and they don't really have any enchanters.
I'm good.
There is a forge if you want to go at least kind of just generally see what they offer. You're more than welcome to. But currently, with your guys' gold amount, there's not really much you could do.
I'm okay for now.
Okay.
Can I go over to the blocks?
Lucas, you want to go to the blacksmith. Mandy, what did you want to do?
I also wanted to go to the blacksmith just to get a general pricing from them.
Okay. So Crystal, you unmuted. Did you want to do something?
No, I'll just wait out front.
Okay. Lucas and Mandy, you head over to the blacksmith. This orc is a kind of sickly colored green, very muscular, has another set of goggles on, very different from the one that the orc captain was wearing. These are more blacksmith style, so it's more to help protect the eyes from the large flashes of kind of molten metal. And he's sitting there kind of working on a simple blade to an axe.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk up. Unsure of really how to communicate with him. I'm gonna hope he understands common as well. Or let me just ask, does he understand common?
He does not, but there is a sign that's kind of hanging on the tent. It is written in common, even though the majority of orcs can't really even though they can't really understand or speak it. Common is actually very common amongst writing purposes because it's one of the easiest languages to understand and write. So common is pretty frequently used when it comes to writing. So the sign currently is in common. The first line is repair. Just states repairing weapon. It can cost anywhere between 5 gold to 25 gold, depending on the size of the weapon. They have the changing the material type on the weapon. So if you wanted to encase your weapon in gold or like silver or something of that nature, those prices can run anywhere between 100 to 200 gold, sometimes even more, depending on the material you want to use. They also have cosmetic options where you can kind of just make your weapon look a little nicer. Those prices can vary as well, anywhere from 5 to about 25 gold, depending on what you want done. That's about it on the sign. They don't really offer a lot of services, especially just due to the fact that this is just a simple camp. So they're not really expecting to stay much longer. So they're just kind of offering the bare minimum for blacksmiths.
I think what I'll do is I'll do maybe the cosmetic option. Since I had to have my sword kind of filed down and whatnot, I just want it to look like it was purposely that size, if that's possible.
Yeah, it'll cost for a great sword just for them to kind of polish up the blade, kind of fix up the pommel a little bit. Because the handguards look relatively the same due to the fact that it's just a basic handguard, so it's pretty much just two pointy, like, kind of spikes coming out the side of the out of the side of the pommel. right before where the blade kind of hits the pommel there. So the handguard looks relatively nice due to the fact that it was rather simple. The pommel and the blade are going to need a little bit of work, just like some simple polishing, maybe adding like a little simple wrap to the pommel just to kind of give you a little bit of an extra grip to it. That would probably cost, I'll say, 7 gold, because it's not really hard for them to do it. So I would say, yeah, about 7 gold to get the blade kind of polished and kind of get the edges a little more sharpened out and a little more uniform, and just kind of add like a simple wrapping and a new bottom end to the pommel.
Okay, so she'll flap over, and she will sit on like a little, on like the counter possibly, or somewhere like where she's like noticeable to this old man, and she's
Mhm.
she has the sign in hand and points to the cosmetic changes.
Okay. Yeah, 7 gold. If you want to go ahead and hand over the sword,
Yeah, I'll do
since he
both.
since you pointed at the cosmetic, he'll kind of get a general idea of what you want, because he looks at like this rather large, great sword in your size. He's kind of looking at the sword, looking at you, looking at the sword, and it seems like something clicks in his head, and he kind of just understands. He takes the sword and kind of just starts kind of simply going through the grinder a little bit. Once he's kind of made the edges a little more uniform, he kind of takes a simple rag, uh, pours some type of liquid onto the blade, and kind of just wipes it down. The blade kind of shines really nicely, and it looks really uniform now. Like when you first found the sword, it looks like it's pretty much in its natural condition now, just the blade is significantly shorter. Then he's going to take some simple leather strips, wrap the pommel, and then he's going to take a like a simple knob that has like kind of like a little screw at the end of it, and he's going to take a hammer and nail, kind of just gently pound the nail into the bottom of the pommel, pull the nail out, and he's going to kind of screw like the little knob on the bottom to kind of finish off the pommel, so your hand kind of doesn't like slide off the end of it when you're using the sword. It only takes about a good 10 minutes. Says it's not a lot of work, so it's a pretty quick job. He hands it back to you. You hand over the 7 gold. Your great sword is now built pretty well for your size. It's really nicely polished. The edges on the blade are very uniform, and the pommel now has a better grip, and your hand will no longer kind of slide off the bottom, because when the human was kind of grinding it down, he kind of just grind like the bottom, like little knob on the end that kind of makes it to where your hand won't slip, so it's kind of just like a straight edge. Now there's that like nice little knob, so your hand kind of just sits nicely on the pommel.
Would I know any kind of way, like being a mercenary, and I would assume dealing with like both sides, would I know how to like insinuate like thank you, like a bow, or just kind of sign that I'm thanking them?
Yeah, a simple bow would be okay for now. For blacksmiths, it's more of they get gratification when they see that their weapons have been used to the utmost effectiveness, per se. But a simple bow will work for now.
Okay. She will bow, kind of hold it up, and kind of make a victory stance pose. A victory stance pose, and then
Yeah.
she will flap her way out of the little blacksmith shop.
Okay. When you make your little victory pose, he seems very pleased. And then you kind of flap away. Lucas, what did you want to do at the blacksmith?
Well, my first idea went down the drain because he doesn't understand common. So I'm gonna go with my second idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him sharpen any dull crossbow bolts.
You don't really have any dull ones, due to the fact that once again, when you guys were in the human camp, they had a simple sharpening stone, and there was somebody like pretty much constantly sharpening all the weapons. That includes the arrowheads if they needed it. So the bolts that you took from the camp are very well maintained. So you don't really have any bolts that need that kind of work.
Oh. So I'll just walk off awkwardly.
But if you did want to do something else, you could always write him a letter. Like you write something down on a piece of paper. Because once again, even though he can't verbally understand common, he can understand it if it's written. Because common is the most used language when it comes to written.
Okay then. Then I'll write to him. Do you have any scrap parts I could have?
He's gonna look at you slightly confused, and then he's gonna kind of pull out his own piece of paper and write a note on it, and just kind of slide it over to you, and it's just gonna simply state, "What do you mean spare part?"
I'll write back. Anything you do not, you no longer have a need for or use for. I'm willing to pay.
Okay, and for continuity's sake, in these types of situations, if you want to write notes to people, when you first start the interaction, you'll only have to state that you're writing a note the first time. And then after that, I'm just going to assume that you're just going to kind of continue to pass notes back and forth. So he's just going to simply reply that he doesn't really have any spare equipment or like any extra pieces or anything, due to the fact that it's about midday right now. So the fighting isn't going to continue for the rest of today, but when it comes to tomorrow, the fighting is going to pretty much continue. So they don't really have any spare things, spare parts to pretty much provide, due to the fact that they need all of those parts to pretty much repair weapons and things as needed. So he doesn't really have any spare parts to give you.
Okay. I'll say thank you for your time, and then I'll walk off.
All right. Did anybody else wanted to do anything before you take the hour-long trek towards the cave?
I mean, about what time of day is it?
I would say it's probably about 3 or no, it's about 4 in the afternoon.
So, my question for all of you is, do we want dinner now, or do we want to work on an empty stomach?
I think it would be best if we ate now.
Yeah.
Me.
That way, whenever we take a rest, we don't have to rely on everything to be calm. Just so we can enjoy a meal. But also, I do want to go to the blacksmith because, well, would I be able to get the blade of at least one of my swords silvered?
How much gold do you have?
I only have the 26.
Then no. For silvering, it's going to cost about 100 gold.
Fuck.
Because it's 100 gold's worth of silver. It might cost a little bit more depending on the weapon's size, but for like your standard sword, like your standard axe, like that general size would probably be about 100 gold if you're trying to get like a great axe or like a or something of that nature silvered, it would probably cost closer to about 200 gold. But it's still going to be anywhere between 100 to 200 gold to get a weapon silvered.
Yeah. Well, in that case, would it cost less if I got my darts or my crossbow bolts silvered?
I would say it's probably about a 10 gold per arrow if you wanted to do that. For the darts, it would probably be, I would say, about 7 gold per dart. So it's 10 gold per arrow, 7 per dart.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Never mind.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive to get stuff silvered because they're also applying the price of the silver to do it and their time and effort to do that. Because this is like kind of an intricate process.
I get it. I just don't have enough money for it to be worth it at the moment.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions, Brady?
While we're being here, I would like to take a long rest. So I could, just so I could, what was it? To change my dedicate. That's what it was. The dedicated weapon.
You know the long rest. You know a long rest is 8 hours, right?
Fuck! I'm used to being an elf.
Yeah.
God damn it!
I mean,
Join the rest of us.
I mean, you can, but that would pretty much lead you into the next day, and the fighting would start up again, which would make it very difficult to hunt down these gnolls.
Nah. It's okay.
Okay. Anybody else wanted to do anything? Well, you guys are about to sit down and have dinner.
Din.
All right, Nick. What would you like to make for dinner? I'm not gonna make you roll anything. I'm kind of doing it the same way that I pretty much treat picks, because Manny hasn't made me roll anything for me making food. So,
Well, I guess my question is for everybody: what does everybody's last meal want to be?
Oh,
Because we all very well could die from this. So let's make this a good one.
I'm not gonna be an asshole, Nick.
I want orange chicken. Give me the chicken.
Something
I
sweet
want to
and
make
cold.
all bigger.
Orange chicken.
So, do you want to make individual meals for everybody, or do you just want to make like a big feast?
I was just gonna do like a simple feast. If Crystal wants cold and sweet, I can do the orange chicken, but Crystal will just have to freeze her own because, well, yeah, I do fire, I don't do ice.
Orange chicken.
But I'm okay with orange chicken.
So, for continuity's sake, because I have done a lot of research on food because of picks, for like just kind of like a simple standard like kind of small feast, including the orange chicken. So the main dish would be the orange chicken, and then you would of course have like your kind of simple sides like some mashed up potatoes.
Gotta get rice and noodles in there.
Yeah, some rice and noodles. You would also have some vegetables, such as like green beans and peas, some carrots as well. And then, of course, you would have kind of like dessertier stuff. So maybe like some simple muffins.
And
yes, Burb?
and Petra would have wild berries, probably sitting in her bag. So do with that knowledge what you will.
You could make a nice little fruit salad. That would add a little bit of sweetness, and you could mix it with some vegetables as well. So you can
actually, I have an idea for those sweet berries.
Yes.
So Let's throw those berries in a bowl.
Yeah.
And we're going to add a little bit of water.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it to Crystal and be like, Crystal, freeze this. And then I'm just going to go back to my cooking while Crystal freezes that.
I like where this is going.
A ray of frost on bowl.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my mage hand to get the bowl from Crystal.
Okay.
And use... So I'm flavoring that my daggers are different, like, cooking knives.
That's perfectly fine with me.
So I'm going to have my mage hand take my paring knife and just start shaving the frozen berry water and just make slushies for everybody.
Oh, that sounds so
Okay.
good.
Oh yeah.
So we're
I
having
like that.
So we're having orange chicken and strawberry slushies.
Hey, I like
Yay!
that. I will
Truly
allow
a
that.
feast.
Yeah.
So, I'll say this takes probably about an hour. You get all the food prepped, kind of set up. You guys pick like a nice little open section of the forest to kind of sit down and eat. Because I assume you guys don't want to eat around the orcs. I mean, if you want to, you can. I'm just assuming that you don't want to.
I'm only against it because I don't have enough to share. I have enough for this small group. That's about it. I can't feed an army.
Okay.
Yeah. They might get jealous of our slushies.
Okay, so you guys do find a nice little open section of the forest. You get the food prepped, everything. You kind of set it out. Everybody takes their seats. You dig in. You kind of sit there and chat, eat your food. Another 30 minutes passes by. You kind of clean up the mess and everything. So you guys have eaten. You guys are stocked up with whatever supplies you may or may not need. Are you guys going to go ahead and make your way towards the cave now?
I'd say yes.
Yes.
Why not, guys? We can do this.
We got this.
All right. So is everybody in agreement with going ahead and heading to the cave?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Yes.
Let's go.
As a small reminder to the group, just make sure you keep at 5 foot distance from each other.
Mandy, are you okay? Are you okay with this plan as well?
Mhm.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right. So following the go ahead, Crystal.
That was in character, by the way.
So Crystal is stating to everybody keep a 5 foot distance from each other.
When we get in when we get in combat, just as a reminder, keep a 5 foot distance from each other.
Okay. I don't need marching order from you guys, because there isn't going to be any type of I don't need marching order from you guys, right now at least. So you guys kind of, after cleaning up, and you pull out the map the orc captain gave you. You kind of follow along the instructions. About an hour of kind of traversing the forest, you come across some simple mountain formations with a very large cave entrance. As you do get a little closer, you do hear some echoing of some weird animal-like noises coming from inside the cave. And as you guys kind of come to the entrance there, and kind of get ready to enter the cave, we're going to kind of come to an end for tonight's session.
No.
No!
Hmm.
But Knowles!
But the nose!
I would normally, I did want to make this session a little bit longer, but I'm finding it very difficult to stay awake right now. So I'm gonna kind of end it here due to the fact that combat can usually take quite a while. So I'd rather be kind of wide awake and prepared to do math. My brain is not functioning right now. So
Yeah, all good.
I would
Aye,
rather,
aye, Captain.
yeah, I would rather be like 100% ready for that situation. But we'll go ahead and end it there. You guys are currently outside of the Knoll Cave, prepared to kind of enter in, take out the garbage.
Yee.
Heck yeah, guys, we'll make so much money off these things. Never have to work a day in our lives again.
We'll need that money for our graves.
Oh God, I regret setting those prices now. For all of
Fuck this
my
over, Josh.
for
See,
all
but-
of my
this
wonderful
over.
for all of my wonderful DMing knowledge, I really did not anticipate you guys going to both factions. So you guys are gonna make hella bank in the second session.
Plus 5
Second
to
session,
my
we all
charisma.
retire.
And none of us are wizards, so it's not like we'll be blowing through this money. It's okay.
And we can sell any equipment we find.
Point. That's actually a really good point. I know that from experience due to the fact that Adrian is just like, I haven't turned into a money goblin yet, but once I start getting higher level spells, I'm going to turn into a money goblin because I'm going to need so many components.
I know, I friggin' gave you money like your first or second session, and it's like, and I spent it all.
Well, I had to pay back the city for, almost blowing up that religious statue, and then I had to go buy clothes, and now I have to find a new way to get my lighter.
It happens.
Because our artificer left. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
None of us do. But yeah, I'm a head off for a little bit. I might hop back on later. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, Twitch. Good night, streaming.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Good night.
Oh yeah, we are
Good
recording.
night.
Night, audience.
Good night.
Night,
Good night, our lovely audience.
Aha.